Hey everyone, so this is, whoops, I can't spell. Brings me to Sprint 3, so the end of the um, game jam. So I guess this one I spent about 5 to 6 hours on a collection of a couple of activities here, um, and I'll go through those visually and play around with it and show you how far I got, what I didn't get to do. Hopefully I submitted everything correctly, we'll find out, but it should be there, it should be fine. So let's hop over to Unity and then I can show the build view, I guess, later. So I didn't get to switch over to using Relay and lobbies as fully as I wanted to. So the multiplayer portion only works locally at the moment, using the built-in multiplayer stuff that I was using before to demonstrate. So multiplayer play mode. So it's all connected locally, although the network infrastructure and stuff does exist and does more or less work there, minus a few possible bugs. Um, just trying to cover what I did last time, from last time. Um, I was working on the gray mask level generation and actually getting the end game stuff working. I guess hopefully it works because I kind of put that end game concept last. So yeah, we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and play what we have here. I can also demonstrate it running from being built out, but for now, this is fine. I'm going to play as host. I'm not going to play with another client right now, unless I decide to add it, and hopefully things go up. Anyway, host will start up. There's a very basic loading progress bar, so just give it a second as it's generating the level and everything, and we have our environment. Now, the masks spawn standing straight up, which doesn't really help for top down. I didn't have much time to go and fix that because that was a very minor issue. I can still pick things up and demonstrate. But this box here is where you would drop off any fruit that you would collect. So let's go and find something. This should be working. This should show a progress of when the enemies are going to spawn. It should be a radial item. I don't know why it got changed. I mean, why it's not showing properly, unless I mislinked it somehow. I might have mislinked it in the build. Anyway, right click to pick it up, and then we have another menu. We have another ability. So I'm going to right click, and it's going to give me options to make a barricade or a turret. So I can click turret and rotate the way I want it to show up. What enemies already spawned. And it seems that the turret is A, shooting when it shouldn't shoot because I didn't finish placing it, and B, it's not respecting the arc um, a shot. But I'll place it. Now, when I have the mask for the gray mask, I can repair it if it gets damaged, and I should be able to hold and click to destroy it. I think it's 1 second. I don't know, but I didn't really test that too far. I was just trying to get the basic turret done because I did this after the level generation. And as long as I have energy, I can place more items down here. So place a barricade, rotate it, and confirm, and now that barricade is in the way. Oops. I didn't fix the bug where it's not raycasting properly, so I have to drop the mask to pick up another one. And then the green mask is the one I demonstrated in the last sprint, where it'll help you grow crops. So water it. Hopefully in a couple seconds it'll turn to harvest. Actually, no, they're decaying because I took too long, so it's going to be a while. Now it's trying to undecay by getting watered. Yeah, the UI got messed up here. But yeah, the charge is super overpowered right now. I feel like it kind of machine guns. I just put together a very quick proof of concept. I didn't get time to polish it up. Now let's see if I can play another player. I don't have the red mask done. The red mask was supposed to be doing manual combat. Oh, here we go. Now it's working. Whatever kicked in. Whatever. So the red mask was supposed to be doing manual combat, so shooting or whatever, but I didn't get that far. Um, the enemies, when they get defeated, they spawn the masks. Um, and I think it's just masks right now. I didn't get a chance to finish my language cipher stuff, so most items already just show in the cipher text. There's no translation capability here. Um, that was the last thing I was working on. I don't know if you saw it in my hierarchy somewhere. Yeah, I was working on the learning tablet, which you kind of see squished over here. But I didn't get a chance to finish setting it up in time because that was like the last thing I was dealing with after getting some systems integrated. I do have the ability to zoom in because I realized that I made some of the canvases really small. Um, so that was a proof of life, quality of life change. Let me make sure that this works, and I realize this is floating. Cool, yay. So if you collect 10 fruit, hopefully this works. Where's my stuff? I just can't read. I'm looking for the collection point. Okay, so let's say we collected our 10, then we get our end level. Oh, I forgot to set something. Since this isn't a published build, this is kind of like the setup I have for the language translations. I'm using a sprite map, and this is supposed to be accessing the sprites by index, not emoji. It's falling back to the emoji. But it should show something like defeated or success or whatever the equivalent is. And then if it was work, if you won, you go to the next level, which I never tested yet. And if you got defeated, it would have you retry the same level. Oops, the UI doesn't go away. Oh well. So minor bugs I kind of rushed to finish due to time. What else? Let's stop and start. Again, once it does finish loading, same machine multiplayer should work. It didn't synchronize the loading bar, but that's fine. So I have this player here, I have this other guy here. Each player has their own color click marker, so again, you can kind of use that a little bit to communicate. Oops, I need to move this. The pickup range is pretty far, so that's fine. And then the masks do have like a rigid body, and sometimes it does break a couple things. Cool. And water it. I also realized that it is deducting energy from both masks, but whoops. So it thinks that I have two masks equipped when I just have the one. The other one should be sitting in inventory. But if I want to switch to it, I should be able to switch to it. And then when they run out of energy, which I'm surprised is still here, maybe it crashed. Yeah. Whatever. When they run out of energy, they get destroyed, and then you can pick up other things, or you can just chuck it or right-click it. Now, I have some weird phantom stuff going on that sometimes pops up, sometimes doesn't pop up, that I didn't get a chance to have time to resolve. So while this player's spazzing out, I'm going to go back to this guy. It looks like I do have red masks, but they do absolutely nothing. So you can switch your masks. Let's see if I can throw it off the edge. I know they fall off the edge, but I guess you can't throw it. So the basic level design. This is procedurally generated. The gray areas should just be like open areas. The red areas are where enemies can spawn. Players in code die, but they don't actually get defeated yet. So you kind of just zombie your way through the entire game at the moment. So obviously there's a lot of cleanup that I would like to do at some point. Players can kind of bump into each other, I guess, to a degree. Minor issues. But the whole idea is you have, I believe it should be, infinitely spawning enemies. And your goal is to keep growing the crops and accumulating as many items as you need for that level. And this is a cooperative type game where you hopefully work with at least one other player. I don't really know how the scaling balancing is. I know that the turrets are pretty overpowered, and there are some situations where if you don't do anything, like now, you're stuck because you need the masks to do things, and there's no way to get the masks at the moment other than enemies. Um, I did want to have the random spawning for those situations. So, like in retrospect, I kind of know what I would do to solve these. Um, but I was going for just getting the most simple way versions of the systems I could out of the way to meet my criteria before I was fleshing things out, just so I can hopefully have a general full idea, even if it is very, very clunky. Um, but yeah, and then just to wrap up, this is the art stuff that I did. Again, not a fantastic art person, but I have this shield for the barricade. Just the UI elements, right? Check mark. We saw that in the turret confirmation or the defense item confirmation. The circle is used in a couple things to highlight. So we have a circle on the crops. Gray shows it's decayed. Green shows it's growing, and the blue is like watering, being tended. Let me see. I don't have a master try. Technically, when a crop is decayed, you should have to plant it again first, which comes from the power of the mask. Um, I was originally going to have a seed concept, but that was adding another collectible to the game that I don't think was really necessary. Fill square used for a lot of the white space things. I tried to reduce how much I used the Unity built-in items, although I think there's a few things that are still using like the UI visuals. The fruit that we collect, so this is the icon that's used. Oh, I don't think I got to show it dropping it. So let me go ahead and restart the game and collect a fruit and show you dropping it as well as I continue explaining the icons. So the harvest icon that we saw, left and right arrow for the rotation. This is really quickly made. I want to actually have an arrow that signified rotation, but time. And I wasn't a great artist, and I'm just learning how to use the Libra Sprite tool. Artist thing, so it happens a little faster. This is the mask that you guys see, so it's both used as the icon as well as the little silly mask that's put onto the player. And the seed icon for replanting when the crop gets into that state. I don't think I use it anywhere else. I may have at one point had a pickup, but it's been a crazy couple of days that I don't remember if I still have an item for seeds. All right, so let me pick this up. So technically, players should be able to drop the fruit, and another players can come and pick it up again. So you can exchange things, and there should be a quantity here. I just never finished adding the text to show the quantity, and that would have had to tie into the system here. Like these numbers, they should be showing as symbols, not as numbers, because I don't know what these numbers are as a character. But when you drop, this should also be, which is not properly. Yeah, it's not rendering properly. There is a canvas, a world space canvas on the fruit, so you can see how many fruit pieces, I guess, are in a bundle just to keep it simple. And then we just go ahead and just drop it off. Close right click and get our points. So that's the gist of it. I guess if you want to kind of relate it to games that are out today, it's kind of like I've not played this yet, but probably like Repo a little bit. You go around collecting items, you put them in a basket, and you have to avoid various enemies. So for this, in this one, this is a wave of enemies. So I have a bit of a tower defense slash arcade concept in here. Although the arcade concept I didn't get to, which was the red mask for whatever attacking I was going to do. Oops, I'm already dead, but that's fine. Um, and then the tower defense is to help manage the map. So the procedural generation, the as you progress through levels, the maps are randomly generated. This one is level 1, so it's based on a specific seed. If I can demonstrate a couple of those. Let's go here. And here, let's do, whoops, let's do level 2. and see if that shows up the same thing. I have a bunch of configurations to generate how the level spawns. So the basic concept is I have islands of tiles, and each island represents something. So the green one, if I didn't mention before, is farming. The red is the enemies. Yeah, I did mention, but I didn't go into detail. So this is a level 2 item, and it's based on the seed of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the level number. And then it would get progressively more and more difficult. So if I go ahead and stop, and then I find another one, and I go to like level 50, I think it goes up to level 9999. No, sorry, 3 nines. Ideally, players probably wouldn't make it that far. It is kind of like a roguelike, so like once a player dies, they should be defeated until maybe the next round if somebody survives. Again, this is not in the game. Players don't get impacted for losing their life at the moment. So this is going to be level 50. It should be a larger map, which we see generated here. So I can show you in the editor view. And this one has 2 farms that you have to deal with and manage. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 places enemies spawn from. The collection bin is pretty far away. I only spawn 1 collection bin per the level, so that's where you have to kind of work together and manage things. Cool. I'm using Navmesh just to make my life easier, but as you saw, there's some like hiccups there. I didn't fully configure it properly. Just again, everything was done to reach a proof of concept. There's no balancing involved either. So the number of fruit that each plant produces is up to 4. So it's 1 to 4. And this is level 50 where you have to collect 255, which maybe could be plausible. And also notice that the plants grow without the green mask. The green mask is just used for accelerating. So let me actually find here. Let me make my journey over to. Oops, no, I know I choose the wrong way because of orientation. So I'll make my journey over to the crops, and I can't shouldn't be able to interact with the crops without that mask. So I can't do anything here. That's it. So I need to have that green mask, and that's one of the constraints I put into the game. So that kind of relates to the themes, and my player now would be just out of luck. Let me just see if I missed anything else, but this should be the gist of it. So sprint 3, sprint 2. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, yeah, definitely something I would be interested in continuing working on. I did like the concept, and I did like the different mechanics coming together. So it was definitely a lot of fun. I really wanted to use Unity's lobby and relay system, but I was saving that for later because, I didn't want to just have networking. I wanted to have the other game concepts. But hopefully it was a good demonstration to show how the past 3 days went, cumulative of like less than 24 hours, I guess. It was a lot of fun, and I was happy to actually submit this game jam on time. The last one I participated in, I missed a deadline because I wasn't familiar with how to submit to HIO before. But now I learned my lesson, and it's a different website for submission, so hopefully that website went well. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to talk about it, explain it, and if you want, I can keep you up to date with any progress I may continue working on for this. So thank you, and take care. See you guys around campus.